Wherever you are, we just want you to help us lift up the name of Jesus this morning. Hallelujah. The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. Sir knows only how to triumph. Oh my God, we'll never fail. Oh my God, we'll never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh. There's power in the mighty name of Jesus. Every war he wages, he will win. Oh, I'm not backing down from any giant, 'cause I know how this story ends. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh. Come on, if you believe these words that you're singing with us, help us sing it with some power this morning. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turned it for good. You turned it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh. You take what the enemy meant for evil, you turned it for good. You turned it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs for the battle belongs to you, Lord. Can't go back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring. But I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be. Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? As I walk now through the valley, let your love rise above every fear. Like the sun shaping the shadow, in my weakness your glory appears. I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here Not for a minute was I forsaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Come, Holy Spirit, dry bones awaken. The Lord is in this place. The Lord is in this place. Not for a minute was I forsaken. The not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again?
Well, good morning, church. I'm so glad that you are continuing to join us for our online experience. Actually, I'm coming to you to make a pretty big announcement. I know we had planned on coming back into the building for in-person services starting August the 2nd, but after meeting with the leaders, with the board, and just through a lot of prayerful consideration, we have decided to suspend our in-person gathering at this time. I know that for many of you, maybe you feel relief because of that decision. Maybe some of you are questioning that decision, and look, I understand all of that. We just had to make a decision based on the safety of the people that would come in through our doors, and we feel like this is the best decision for us. I also want to let you know that we are going to be revamping and really making things more excellent for our online experience. We're going to try new things. This season has afforded us opportunities to take some risk, and we're going to capture this opportunity because you see, like you've heard me say and you've heard us say for years, that this place isn't the church. You are the church. And so we get an opportunity to continue being the church in our world. And I believe and I stand on the promise that Jesus builds His church. And guess what? We get an opportunity to participate with Him in building that church. We get the opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And yes, while I will miss the touch point of our services with you, with masks and all the other mandates that are coming down, it still wouldn't be the same as it was before. And so because of that, because that we have a standard at Hill City that we want to create an amazing in-person gathering and experience, we're just not able to do that, and so we're just going to suspend those services. And so I hope that you continue to engage with us online. Right now we're coming up with new strategies also where we get to connect relationally at an even greater level. I'll be talking with different leaders and people on the team where we can create something where we can really begin to reach out, where you are being taken care of, you're being cared for, and you're also being challenged to grow in your faith. And so I just pray that you will come on this journey with us as we are family going on this journey together. And I just believe that the best is still yet to come. Well, I just want to say I'm also excited because today we're closing out our Hill City interview series. We are going to change it up though, as Pastor Corey is going to be interviewing me. And so I'm excited about it. I hope that you will be encouraged. And so, man, lean in, listen up, because this interview is happening right now. Let's go.
Well, good morning, church, to week 4 of Hill City interviews. And it is my pleasure, privilege, and honor to interview our pastor. We're going to have some fun this morning. So sit back, enjoy this process. I'm going to rip open a can of this guy's heart as we give him first, right off the bat, a rapid fire 20 questions. Some of these answers are going to be short, quick. Some of the answers might be long, depending on how emotional this guy wants to be. But you ready to find out a little bit more about our pastor? You ready?
I am ready, but I do want to say one thing because I do not know what you're getting ready to ask me. But we've actually had a few people say, man, guys, you're so serious online. You're not your normal funny self.
It's about to go down.
So okay? I'm just excited for this interview. I'm excited for this time. I don't know what we're going to get into fully. Corey has got these questions together.
He's never seen them.
Going to see what happens. And that's why, man, I'm excited.
Are you prefacing so that people know if I get inappropriate?
I'm just saying that it's time that we just have a little bit of fun.
Rapid fire questions, 20 questions. You ready?
Let's go.
Okay. We'll go easy and we'll get to the heavy stuff. Ready? Beach or mountains?
Beach, always.
Mornings or nights?
Can I say mid-afternoon?
Afternoon delight. Hang gliding or whitewater rafting?
Oh, whitewater rafting.
Scared of heights?
No.
Podcasts or music?
Podcast.
Your mom's lemon lush pie or your wife's chocolate eclair cake?
Oh my God, seriously?
Put them against each other.
I know you did, straight up. I would say, I think my wife just follows the random chocolate eclair cake that's not hers, but my mom's is like, I think her recipe, I'm going to go with my mom's lemon lush
Dude, that
pie.
is a wrong answer, even if it was
I'm
true.
sorry, it's just true. I'm going to be a truthful guy. I can't help it.
Yikes. Biggest fear?
My biggest fear is saying something that I will regret.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, you ready for some favorites?
Favorite, let's do it.
Favorite genre of movies?
Comedy, for sure.
Favorite movie then?
Oh,
You gotta
I
be
can't
careful.
do that because it
You
has
gotta
to be
careful.
certain genres. I can't just give an overall favorite movie. I've
That
never been
fly
able to.
came back from Bill
I know.
Vanderbush.
The same fly that was in the
He
interview
lived
last week
a week.
is still here flying around. But I can't give my favorite movie. It's got to be, you have
Don't
have
say
to
it. Don't say it.
specific
People will
genre.
judge you based on
Yeah,
it too, because it's
yeah.
comedy.
Absolutely.
Favorite sports memory?
Favorite sports memory, I would say, honestly, this might sound crazy, but in 8th grade, I actually made a last-second shot to win the game against our biggest rivals. So that was like amazing.
Okay. What I probably should have prefaced that question, because when I thought of that question, I was thinking like not yourself. Favorite sports memory?
Oh, that was for me.
Yeah, I know. Clearly, you
I was
went
getting
right
ready
to
say the
yourself
first time I
because
dunked
it's
a
all
basketball.
about you, Pastor.
I was trying to
Just
think
kidding.
first time I dunked a basketball.
Okay, then
Let me
favorite sports memory that didn't involve you. I know it's hard.
Man, honestly, I was 8 years old. Keith Smart hit a jump shot, bank shot to win Indiana their last title they won in 1987.
That's an amazing moment, but for the record, he did say shark. I thought that you were going to. I thought that you were going to talk about IU hitting the shot against UK just a couple of years ago.
Oh, I don't want to
Wofford,
hurt
right?
anybody's feelings.
Wofford.
right now.
I was hoping that you were going to bring that up so people would be a little bit
Okay.
upset.
That was a great memory, though.
Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Honestly, man, I love Suits.
That's my
Such
favorite
a good
TV show.
show.
That's a good one. If you are in a binge-worthy state of mind, since many of us are at home, Suits. It's good. Favorite family vacation destination?
Family vacation destination. I already said I love the beach. I love going with my family to Destin. It's
White
just amazing.
sand, as
Calm,
close to the
peaceful.
Caribbean and get only 8-hour drive.
I love it.
It's pretty nice.
Yep.
Speaking of Destin, I just got back there. That's why I look so beautiful. Favorite band?
Favorite band? Man, Dave Matthews.
Oh.
That's the easiest question. you've
Worst
asked me.
band in the league. That's the only reason
They
why
always
I
get
asked
on
him that question so I could have
The
that
entire
response.
team always gets on me. I just love Dave Matthews. I can't help it. Dave Matthews, man.
Favorite coffee crossing drink?
Man, my go-to is the Nitro.
Nitro. So if you want to bless Pastor in this season,
Yeah, 1.5 pumps of white mocha though. I need just a little bit of creamer, a little bit of sweetness to it.
favorite son?
Favorite what?
Your favorite son?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. Don't
All
answer
of
the
them.
question. I tried to get you in a weak moment
I got
so that
you.
you could show everybody that you're just as human as all of us who may or may not have favorites.
Man, all my kids are so different. Like I love so many different things about all 4 of them, so I can't give you a favorite.
Biggest pet peeve? That was the right parenting answer,
Biggest
by the way.
pet peeve, honestly, is being around someone when they are chewing very loudly.
Oh.
Like it, I just have to leave.
I have witnessed
to dismiss
him
myself.
get irritated by that. That is a bad one, though. You know who's the worst? The guy videoing us right now.
Oh. Well,
I'm just kidding, Cody. We love you. What's your death row meal?
A death row meal.
Do you notice how he said death row mill and I asked death row meal?
Yeah, you asked this question on purpose so that I would say meal. That's just the way I say it. Man, honestly, you can't beat a great steak cooked medium.
What about
No
your
more.
dad's brisket that he just did on
Oh,
those
he
trainer?
did just do a brisket that was phenomenal, out of this world. But sure. How about we say that?
Boom. What's the best way to start the day?
The best way to start the day. Honestly, this might sound like a romantic or whatever, but my
Whoa.
favorite part of every morning is waking up with my wife and drinking coffee with her and having conversation. It's amazing. I love it.
PG version.
That is the PG version.
What job would you be terrible at?
What job would I be terrible at? Man, a daycare worker.
Oh my gosh. How many of you parents, well, I guess since they're not really going back to school, you can't be looking forward to going back to school, but we'll figure this out together. We are all in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
But
And
we
like
all
the
need a
young
little bit of
kids,
help.
Like nursery, like
Yeah.
I would be useless.
It's not for all of us. I don't understand why anybody wants to go in that profession,
No, I mean, hey, some people love
but
it.
we thank those of you that do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen. What website do you visit most often?
ESPN.com.
I knew that was going to be your answer. My wife would be like, that's yours too. Oh, no wonder you guys like each other so much. Who is your hero?
My hero, man, honestly, it's my dad. And I mean that when I say that. Like, everything about who he is, his character, his heart, the way he has persevered, even going through the accident that he had like almost 20 years ago, and to see him still like engage with life and with us and his grandkids as much as he can, even though I know he's hurting constantly, but he does it, man, with a smile on his face. And I just admire that so much about him. And now that I've pastored now for 8 years leading here at Hill City, knowing that he did it for 32 years, 4 times this long, and man, just persevered through so much, man, I just have that much more respect for him. So absolutely, he's my hero.
Mm-hmm. He is my hero too. I love Pastor Daryl. He's amazing. All right, last question of the rapid fire is your favorite thing about being a pastor.
My favorite thing about being a pastor, honestly, when I see other people walk in the giftings that God has for them and the work that God has for them to do, and awakening to that and walking out what it means to be a son or daughter of God, like them knowing who they are first off, and then as a son or daughter knowing they have responsibility in the kingdom to function and they have a purpose. And when people like attune to that and focus on that and begin to walk that out in their life, like that actually gives me so much joy. My favorite part of being a pastor is to see people succeed at what God has called them to do.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard us say it before from our stage, and we actually mean it, is our jobs as pastors is really to be your biggest cheerleaders, is to really help encourage you and empower you to be all that God has called you to be. And I love that was your go-to answer off the bat, unrehearsed, raw as can be.
Yeah,
And
all those were unrehearsed.
Seriously,
Fully.
seriously. And I actually waited to ask that question last in the rapid fire because it kind of gives us a perfect segue into just some encouragement around what's going on in our season. You heard it in the announcement that we aren't going to be meeting August 2nd, unfortunately. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that decision and why. But one question I really want to hear from you is, what's the biggest thing that God has been teaching you through the last 4 months now of this pandemic? And what's the biggest thing?
I'll say just especially the last 2 months, it's one word, and it's trust. In the very beginning, everything was so uncertain, but even in things that we tried to get a handle on and get a grasp on, even those things were uncertain. And so the last 2 months have just really been the season of uncertainty for me, especially of leading not only this place with all the decisions that I have to make, but decisions with my family, decisions with my kids and going back to school and just all the uncertainty with that. And because of all that, like my go-to is just, man, I got to learn to trust. I got to really just dive in and really develop and continue in my relationship, honestly, with Jesus. And my go-to verse in the season, something that I've been going to daily, saying, internalizing, honestly, is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And so, like in all your ways, like sometimes I don't know what way, what decision, what to do with all the uncertainty, but I know that again, like we've said from the very beginning, God didn't cause all this, but he won't waste this time or this season either. And knowing that he knows everything that's going to happen, I think that we have an opportunity to really just acknowledge him in everything. Like, God, I don't know what to do, but Spirit, like, you do. And let me follow that. Let me follow your voice. Let me follow your prompting. And just this just season of trust that I've been building, where I can't necessarily rely on, people's opinions on what I should be doing. Sometimes even internally, what I'm telling myself what I should be doing. Like, moving those aside to say, you know what, we can't please everyone, but man, our job is, I believe, as walking out sons and daughters, is to please our Heavenly Father. And I think he's always pleased with us. One, you have to come to that realization first, but then just trust that no matter what comes, no matter what happens, like, we can have peace through those seasons. I mean, we've been preaching kingdom for a couple years now, and the kingdom is all about righteousness, peace, and joy. And no matter what we go through, we have access to all of those things, but they don't actually come to fruition in our life apart from trust. Like, I just feel like there has to be this level of trust, because that's where, like, you just know, right? That no matter what happens, I can have peace through this, because, I do have that relationship with Jesus. And I do understand that everything I'm walking through isn't something that he caused, but he'll walk through it with me. And just knowing that and having that peace, honestly, is what I've been leaning into more than anything else. And I have to during the season where I'm actually, as the pastor of this place, making decisions that affect families, affect the community. And so, man, I just have to trust. I'm going to keep coming back. I got to trust that God has a plan through all this. He has a plan for us. And we just need to really just begin to trust him more with our lives, more with our conversations, more, with just all of our decisions, that we recognize too, that it's not necessarily any decision that's blessed. And you've heard me say this before, but I have to realize that I'm blessed. And so no matter what decision I make, he's going to be there with me to walk through it. And so, so man, I just have to lean in and trust. That's what I've been learning in this season.
Inspiring, dude. That was inspiring. And again, that was unrehearsed and raw and real. And I just want you guys to know, okay, so in the church world, especially as leaders, when we make these decisions aren't easy. And I know there's people on both sides, people that are disappointed in this decision, people that support this decision. This decision wasn't easy. And I just want to tell our church, at least those that are watching, how proud I am of you to being involved in those behind the scenes conversations, involved in that prayer, involved in seeking what's the best overall option here. And I'm just so proud to be submitted to your leadership and watching how you handle that, watching how even you stress about making the right decision and contemplate it over days and weeks even. We have an incredible guy leading us who is actually in tune with the Spirit. And you might disagree on not meeting, and it might be a disappointment, which is really the real word, I think, that many people that disagree with, disappointment in meeting. But I think it's such an incredible opportunity for us to actually get away from doing church the way that for us growing up in the church have always done church. Right. And we know, and we talk about it all the time, we are the church, go be the church. Yep. And we believe that. But we also do church here. In this space to empower and encourage us to be the church. And I think it's cool because it gives us this opportunity to test and trial some things on empowering and impacting our communities. For the first time ever, we are actually slow enough to maybe get to know our neighbors' names and to maybe get out and find your Jerusalem. Remember that sermon series where don't go on an overseas mission trip if you can't go over across the street. And that's been a huge challenge to me. And so I'm excited for this new season of what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be empowering people online and possibly in person in different groups and small groups and whatnot, and what that will look like. And we're in conversations and meetings talking about how to best impact our community through potentially not meeting on Sunday mornings. And so I'm excited. I'm thankful for your leadership.
I appreciate that. And honestly, since we're talking about this right now, I really want to go back to even the conversation we had several weeks ago as we were in our Hill City Conversation series. And we just talked about the different prophetic words that we've gotten as a church. And one of those prophetic words was from Dwayne White about how we're called to
to build a prototype, not follow a blueprint. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. What better opportunity than now that we have to really engage and get better at not only our online presence, but also how we connect with people outside of just the hour on Sunday morning, how we can really begin to do life with people, how we can have a place where we're forced to get out of the building. And then I remember another prophetic word that we got years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. And the lady came in, I think it was Rev Bev. They were here and they were ministering. And she said, I just saw this place as a church without walls. And really just a call to go out, not be about the building. And now we're forced to go out. But then again, many people just want to run back to the building. So how can we capitalize and engage on the opportunity that we have to really be the church, not just come to church? And I think we have this incredible opportunity in front of us to try new things, right?
Experiment.
One of the core values that we
Fail,
have is
take
we
risks. Take risks.
And
I saw your punchline.
No, it's all good. And so it's fine, but we have this opportunity in front of us, and I know that I'm excited about it. And I know that over the next few weeks, we'll be in meetings and strategizing how to better actually equip you to do the work of the ministry, how to better equip you to engage in relationship with not only people here, which we want that to happen. Matter of fact, as a pastor, hopefully you hear my heart. My heart is for you and to have those relationships and those connections and those people that you can do life with, where you are growing together and you are being discipled by one another, and to really be walking out what it means to be the church, but not just to one another here, but to people that you do life with, maybe in a work context, maybe in your neighborhood, whatever that looks like. But we can't just continue to rely on one place or coming into a building to get everything that we need. I promise you, and this is why the conversation last week with Bill Vanderbush was so important. If you didn't have an opportunity, please go back and watch last week's interview, because he talked about living a life following after the Spirit. And he also talked about how the Spirit is known as the Comforter. And because he's known as Comforter, he is called that because we should find ourselves in places where we get uncomfortable and we feel discomfort. That's when the Comforter comes alongside. But many of us aren't willing to go in those arenas, to go in those avenues where we're actually engaging with people that are, maybe different than us, maybe have different beliefs, different views. They don't look like us, talk like us, all that, but we care enough about them. We love them. And we get to actively, connect people to life. That's what we say we're about.
I'm glad that you brought up Bill Vanderbush, because he said something last week, and I've been chewing on it all week. And he brought up the story of the plague in the 2nd and 3rd century, and how the church in the 2nd and 3rd century were known for going after people with the plague, giving them a home, even if it cost them their own lives. And so I look at the church today and how we've responded to this plague. And I'm not going to accuse anybody else, but I have not done a good job of going and being the church and going to people that need life and hope and connecting them to life and hope. And I'm just inspired over the next couple of weeks and maybe even months, whatever this looks like, is really challenging to myself to do that. I mean, we have a lifetime to do church and be church. We have a lifetime in retrospect of our lives, taking it's been 4 months now, or maybe a couple more weeks or a couple more months, let's say a year, taking a year off. Hopefully it's not that. But in retrospect of our entire life, this is not that much time. And so what an incredible opportunity to take some risks and try some new things and try to engage with people in online ways. You're going to see a whole lot of different online things that we put out there for you to watch on maybe even a regular basis, like a daily basis. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm excited for this next season.
I'm excited about it too. And I was actually just talking with Sabrina this morning, and we were talking about this idea. We don't know how much longer this is going to be. Even if it is several more months or whatever that looks like, we have a lifetime of ministry to do together. I feel like we're at that age. And again, no one's promised tomorrow, and I get all that. But at the same time, we still might have 30, 40, 50 years left of ministry to do together. So what's 6 months or what's 1 year where we take advantage of this and we try new things and we're trying to engage differently, especially trying to establish an even greater online presence and trying to do things differently even in that arena, because that's not going away. At any moment, they can come and take away our ability to maybe meet in this building
forever.
But the ability that we have to walk across the street or to put something out online or Facebook. Like those things are always going to be there, and that's where the trajectory of reaching people and engaging with people is going. And not that we totally want to remove ourselves,
Right.
because you know me, the biggest thing that I care about is the connection and and getting people at least together, at least in homes and relationships, and doing that. I think that is so important. But yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I hope you feel that excitement, because we're excited now, and we can't wait for what God has in store for us as the church in this community. Last question, we'll finish this off. I know you and I have dialogued a lot. We've read a whole lot of different stories, read a whole lot of blogs, things that have inspired us, things not so much. There was, I can't pronounce his name fully, you have to help me out, Kerry Niewolf or Nywolf, something like that. He wrote a blog, I don't know if it was a couple months ago or years ago, but you sent it to me, and it was 5 things your pastor wishes that he or she could tell you. And we discussed them and talked about, because there's some things, if you don't know, you don't know. Like, there's some things that we wish we could say sometimes, but we don't, for fear of consequences, or it just might come off the wrong way. And I know we talked a lot about that, but I think I want to hear, maybe just 3, actually hearing the top 3 things that we discussed from the blog, that maybe they weren't on the blog, but things that we came up with on our own. So share with us 3 things that you would want, or that if you could, and you're about to, because we're going to share it, you would share.
So this is really putting me on the spot,
people.
but I get it. And basically, it's confessions of a pastor. So you're getting ready to hear from me just on some things that maybe actually will be good that you hear these things. I think the first thing that comes to mind for me, and if I'm being honest, and I am,
you're about to be. I just put you on the spot.
I know you did, but honestly, I feel like I need to say that, like, I'm on a journey just like you're on a journey in following Jesus. And so with that means that I might not know everything that you expect me to know. And I have an opportunity and I've had an opportunity for schooling and some other things like that. Look, I have lived my whole life in a church setting. And so I have quite a bit of experience. But at the same time, I am on this journey, and I don't know everything. I don't know what's going to happen. Look at this season. It is an uncertain season, and I don't know for sure all the right decisions to make. I might not know all the right responses to questions that might be asked. And so I think what I'd like to say is just have some grace in that area, Like, give grace to all pastors, all churches. No pastor has had to pastor through a pandemic before. And I was talking to someone just this morning, and we were talking about some decisions that other churches are making, and we're trying to collectively get as much information as we can before we made our decision. And some churches have made great decisions, we thought. Some churches have made bad decisions. But even the one making bad decisions, man, there's grace for them. They've never had to do this before. They're trying to figure it out just like we're figuring out. But in the context of just my walk with Jesus, man, like, I'm on the same journey that you're on in learning and growing.
So that's one. Hold on. If you don't like us or pastors, you can still be challenged by that thought. Your leaders in your workplaces have never led through a pandemic before. You've never parented through a pandemic before.
They're teachers.
Teachers. Come on, my wife's a teacher. They're learning just as much as your kids are learning. So if we're going to give our kids grace, let's give our teachers some grace, and maybe a bump in salary. So number 1.
That's number 1. Number 2, and it kind of goes along with that, and I'm trying to figure out a way to put this gracefully.
Raw and unedited. Just give it to us.
Raw and unedited is, stop trying to put me on a pedestal that I'm trying to climb down off of.
Come on, preach. That'll preach.
And I say that to say, yes, I have been gifted and called as a pastor, but the 5-fold equipping gifts are just that, equipping gifts. We are gifts to the body. So really, we're not over anyone else. We're actually under everyone.
That's why we're washing everyone's feet.
And we should be. And we should be serving. But at the same time, we're equipping you to do the work of the ministry. And so I'm not always, like I said just a second ago, I'm not always going to have it figured out. I'm going to mess up at times. I'm not perfect. My family, please cut my family some grace and some slack. They're not perfect. I think sometimes they feel like they have to live up to this expectation. And even though I try to hammer that and knock that down time after time to say, look, I love you, our family loves you. You don't have to be anything to anyone as far as a standard what you think they think of you, if that makes sense. And so Yeah, so I don't need to be on this pedestal. I really feel like when we come back in, some of the first messages that I'm going to preach is about how we're all called to be a royal priesthood, that there is no separation or difference between this clergy idea and the laity, where there's this separation. Like we are all a kingdom of priests.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm any more gifted or have any more of the Spirit than anyone else has. And so I have my faults, I have my flaws. And so, man, let's just do life and go on this journey together, realizing that we're all trying to follow after Jesus. We're all trying to be sensitive and attuned to the Spirit. And some things that I do might not look like what you think a pastor should be doing. And if you need to call me out on that, we have that relationship, call me out on it. But also don't put me on this pedestal that I never really want to be on.
Because Jesus is the only person for that pedestal.
Yeah.
And we will constantly preach Jesus in this place and try to show you, hey, Jesus is the best life. So take us off the pedestal. We don't want to be on it. You have power. That's our message, is to help you realize that you have power. The same power that raised Christ from the dead lives in you. And so, yeah, I love that. You got a third one?
Just one last one, and it goes along with the first two. I just want to tell people, like, look, the lights just went
The
off.
lights just went off. I think closing time.
It is closing time. So I'll leave you with this. I just really, honestly, the confession that I have is I want you to see yourself, and I wish you would see yourself better than you're viewing yourself right now. If you could only sense how much God has for you, if you would only sense the thoughts that he has towards you, that, man, his good thoughts outnumber the sand on the seashore. If you think about that, it is mind-blowing. And I just want you to know that, man, my confession to you is for you to finally get to a place where you believe that you matter and you have ministry. You know, it's our job to help equip you, which means to help you get in the right connections, help you get in the right spots, and we'll do that. But at the same time, I think if you just got out there and became a lot more intentional on showing love to people, on serving and being in ministry, which is what ministry is all about. The word ministry, it just means to serve others. It's like a word that's used like a waiter at a table, right? And you have that ability right now. You have everything you need to do everything God has called you to do. And I think the thing is, you just have to step out and begin to do it. And so for me, my confession is, I wish you would do that more often. Because again, back to our earlier conversation, I didn't know that was going to be the last question. What do you like most about being pastor? It was to see people, succeed and walk out, the call that God has on their life, and to walk out what it means to be a son and daughter, and to really begin to love people very well, and to do that in such a way where God really does get the glory, where it is really all about him. That's what I want to see. That's where I get the most, happiness, if you will, is to see other people walking that out. And so I just want people to realize, man, you can do it.
You can. You matter.
Yeah.
Man, that's all we got.
That's all we got.
Well, I hope that you follow us on socials. And I say that because over the next couple weeks, we're going to be informing people from social media, and also maybe even some personal texts and calls, and having our team leaders contact people in our church about what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be impacting our community, how we're going to be meeting, if we are going to be meeting certain things. So follow us on socials. Maybe type out in the comment sections below right now how we can be praying for you. Yep. Hopefully you feel as excited as we are about this next season that we're moving into. Hopefully you can be as patient as we're being patient, because we hate that we can't meet in this corporate setting. But it's not just about this. This is to empower us to do life and be the church in everything. So keep in contact with us. Keep us informed. We love hearing about those stories from several of you about how God's been working in and through your lives as parents and workplaces. And so, as always, Pastor, sign us off.
All right. Yeah, we want you to know, as always, you are loved, and there's nothing you can do about it.